Now I know how that title reads, it comes across like the best cancer to ever contract, but I'm serious, because Mascot horror has essentially become the lol cow of horror games. Initially popularized by the funny bear game that came out almost 12 years ago by the way, nowadays it falls into this same stale format. Make le epic game with spooky children's thing and release it chapter by chapter for maximum gold efficiency and game theory coverage. But it would be remiss of me to say that nobody caught the wave. One of the very first and best to ever do it was Tattletale.
I'm over here stroking my dick, I got lotion on my dick right now.
A game popular enough for its short lifespan, releasing just after Sister Location, and would be swiftly drop-kicked out of the limelight by Bendy and the Kink Machine. It really didn't have much of an opportunity to bask in the limelight. But the tale is special because unlike The Godfather or other Mascot horrors, it doesn't insist upon itself. It's very self-contained, everything is there from when it dropped, only having a small update to add a secret ending, and later a short DLC, completely for free by the way, no sequels, no need to be dark and mysterious, like me, and why I believe those who know find it far more palatable. So let's rewind, back to where it all started. We play as a young child, probably no older than about 7 or 8, judging by some of the photos you find in your room and the fact that you get hype-mogged by the kitchen counter. And we have one simple objective: find our Christmas gifts early. For me it was Skylanders, but for us now we sneak down into the basement and stumble upon it. And we unwrap it to find... Nah, I'm just kidding, it's the man of the hour.
You're in big trouble.
A toy by the fictional Waygetter Electronics company, which shares the name with the game's developers, and we may as well peel this band-aid off now, he's a clear rip-off of a Furby. Even down to when this game takes place, the Christmas of 1998, the same year the actual toy released. Though, to be completely honest, Tattletale is so much cuter than those things ever were. I think it's the beak for me, and those soulless eyes, like, fuck these things. Anyway, Tattletale has needs to be met, and he needs real human food from the refrigerator. Why? Or even how you'd make a toy eat real food is beyond me. But he really eats, and after getting big and round, he'll need to be groomed. And failing to meet either of these standards will cause Tattletale to lose his shit and start loudly complaining about what he needs.
Give me a treat. Brush me.
So he's a women. And after getting what he wants, he'll be back to smiles in no time. So it's probably time to put him back.
It's dark.
But before wrapping him back up tight, you'll find a gift egg on the tabletop. These are the only collectible in the game, each of which are laid by our egg-shaped friend over here. There are 22 in total, and I'll point them out because they are missable and they will be important later. And now that he's put away, we can make our way up the stairs and... You're told not to answer here, but if you do decide to answer it, this is what you'll hear. And on your way to bed, you'll see the front door open, with just an egg on the porch. Why is the door suddenly open now, in the middle of the night, with just a hairball sitting there? It was probably just the cat, that we never see. Just ignore the implications of that. You can also knock on your mother's door, but seeing as you're sneaking your Christmas presents in early, this probably isn't the greatest idea, but even if you do, she doesn't respond. Going back to your room, you'll find the last egg on your nightstand before falling asleep. We wake up to a clunking noise from the basement. Going to check it out, we'll pass by the single most blinding light in the entire game. Anyway, the clanking was Tattletale going for a spin in the washing machine, and you can also find the first egg of the night next to it. And after experiencing Toby Fox humor for a couple of hours, my boy is drained and needs to be recharged on his pad in the basement. This is the final one of the needs that need to be met, and there's a reason why it was introduced last. His battery is by far the thing that lasts the longest when compared to the other two, so you won't need to worry about it for the majority of the time. And now that we've kind of had the opportunity to meet the little guy, you're probably wondering, when is this motherfucker gonna go for my throat? And the short answer to that question is never. Tattletale is literally just that guy. For this, I bestow him with the Wholesome Chungus Award, along with Reddit Platinum. Exploring some more though, we grab a gift egg off the dryer and find this cool vase. Luckily, we have a flashlight that you have to jack off to turn on. What the fuck? Turning the corner, we see... in their place, the final egg for this night.
Mama's scary.
After all that excitement, it's probably time to go back to bed. And heading back out of the basement, knocking can be heard from outside. And as I'm sure you're aware by this point, something in fact may be happening. Someone or something is doing this, and we will soon be finding out who. But let's ignore all that for now, of course. Now that we have a source of light for ourselves, we might as well explore the house for a bit. Firstly, change from the first night, the door connecting the hallway and the lounge is now open for a shortcut between them, but more interestingly, the bathroom door is now open. There isn't actually that much to do in here, but there are two paintings, one of two cherubs which are found at the bottom of the real-life Sistine Madonna. The one made by the angry Ninja Turtle who gets his ass beat by a fucking red macaque, alongside the legend of the Sand Dollar, a Christian folktale about a seashell that represents the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus. I could go into great depth here about the full story, but this isn't a pyrocynical video, and I am not into inflation. These, along with other images found throughout the house, pretty clearly hint towards the family being Christian. However, the real points of interest are in the family photos littered around the house. Above the fireplace in the living room, we can see pictures of the family cat, which explains the hairball gift, and we can see a doghouse again, explaining that chewed dog food. Next to the couch, we can see some glimpses of the family, with a picture of the player character and potentially a sister. We also see pictures of the parents, but as your mother's the only one mentioned, this may imply that they're split. This time you wake up, the knocking is gone, but a loud grinding noise fills the house. So we head off to see Tattletale, but this time the noise isn't him mucking around like last time. A trail of eggs leads you to another toy in the Tattletale lineage. This is Mama Tattletale. Placed right next to her, a cassette tape. Inserting it into her slot, you'll hear the following story.
The children thought that Mama would never find them as long as she couldn't see them. Turn the page. But Mama could still hear the children. The pitter-patter of their little feet led Mama right to them. Turn the page. Then Mama found the children, every last one, and put them right back to bed.
Anyway, we can hear Tattletale upstairs, and this little bastard made a huge mess. You cheeky tut. I'd be mad if you weren't so lovable.
Show me Mama.
But how can I say no to that face? Returning to her... she's gone.
Where's Mama?
And a gift egg is left in her place. That's okay, we'll wrap you back up and clean up this mess.
Mama's looking after you.
This is our first actual encounter with Mama Tattletale. Now, I'm not going to treat you like a fucking moron. I'm sure you've grasped what's happening here. Mama is the real threat. The red eyes in the darkness, the whirring over the phone, and why all of the lights keep cutting out. And that story she told you was far from useless. It tells you how she operates. She only hunts you based on the sounds you make. I really wish the game had the confidence to have the story be your one and only explanation for that, because reiterating it not only kind of takes you out of it, but it just shows a lack of trust for the player to connect the dots on their own. But regardless of that, you've probably noticed the yellow megaphone in the top right. This is your indication that you're making noise, and if you do this too close to Mama... Alone, there are only two things that will make noise. Shaking the flashlight and running. So just don't run or shake the light and you're good to go. These are really easy things to avoid on the whole, as you don't need either of them when you're just by yourself, which keep you safe as long as you can keep your distance. Though I'm sure you're coming to understand what may complicate things later. Clean up and you're safe to sleep again. Maybe just don't snore too loudly. We wake up to chattering in the garage and... oh fuck, they're multiplying. Are they gremlins? There's another Tattletale. He is yellow. And his name is Butternut. And they just want to play some funny games. Talking with him starts the game of hide and seek, and to make sure you're not peeking... Objective, survive 30 seconds. Butternut also leaves an egg in his place, but more importantly, surviving Mama for this night is the main challenge. So how about we talk a bit more about how she works. Now that you have Tattletale in hand, avoiding her is now significantly more difficult, as if you don't keep his needs up, he'll sell your soul for some fucking nerd gummy clusters. So make sure you keep an eye on each gauge and stock up before each game, as you'll have to get through 3 to survive the night. At the start of each game, the lights will go out, and this intensifying ambience will begin swelling, and Mama will will appear near you. If you look at her, your flashlight will immediately cut out and reveal the last thing that will cause Tattletale to make noise, his fear of the dark. Which you probably wouldn't have noticed by now because you've never had to manage Tattletale and avoid Mama simultaneously. There are plenty of hints earlier about this. Firstly is the low light warning when it's off and Tattletale shaking and looking around, but even as far back as night 1, he freaks out when the lights turn off.
It's dark.
Being able to get the light back on is pivotal. Fucking pivotal, really? Being able to get the light back on quickly is pivotal, and by far the most difficult thing to maintain. Periodically draining just like everything else, but at multiple points being forced off and guaranteeing you'll make noise, whereas the others can be entirely prevented from ever making a noise with correct management. So how can you get the light back on and avoid Mama? Well, as a rule of thumb, you need her to not hear you, so getting some ground between yourself and Mama is a good start, as if you create enough distance, you'll be momentarily safe from her detection. In my experience, I've found that breaking line of sight seems to help avoid detections from making noise. While she'll only react to noises you make, whether or not she can see you does seem to have a bearing on the distance needed between you. Or she'll simply move away when out of sight, as she's temporarily locked in place whenever you make eye contact. So slipping around the corner and out of sight and cranking that thing before she comes any closer will be a huge help. After surviving the first hide and seek, you can find Butternut under the tree, where you can go for the second round lasting a minute of pursuit. Once again finding another egg after he leaves. But the real challenge of the night comes with the final game. Finding Butternut in your closet, and once again an egg will be left in his place, but this is actually the only example in the game where a Tattletale actually tattles on you.
Hi, Mama. In the bedroom. Okay. Bye-bye.
Left to avoid Mama for a full minute and a half, which is one of the single most difficult sections in the entire game, as it essentially guarantees multiple trips around the house to stop Tattletale from tattling on you. Oh, wait a minute! But if you manage to get through, you'll find Butternut in his final spot, next to another egg and a VHS tape. Without Mama to play it, your only option is to take it up to your bedroom TV to see what's on it, but grab the egg on the counter just before you do. This section features a controllable ad for the release of Tattletale, featuring 10 cameras to switch between. Not that you can see all that much with the lights off, but the real magic starts when we hit play.
Tattletale, that's me. Nom, 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 nom.
Mama's coming.
Play on for me.
There's a little bit to unpack here. Firstly, given the content we find on this tape, this was likely never aired, especially given that we have full control over the camera systems, as if this is a prototype or demo not meant for the eyes of the public. The more pressing matter comes with Mama, demonstrating to us that this is not her first rodeo. Soon after this ad starts, the lights go stank, Mama disappears, and in totality through this ad we see three, count 'em three, corpses of what are likely Waygetter security guards. Behind the couch on camera 7, behind the box Tattletale on camera 8, and the one struggling in the storage room on camera 9 with Mama until she leaves him to suffer. This is also not mentioning the various garbage bags that appear all throughout, which can only imply that this number is far, far higher. For now that's really all I have to say, but we will be returning to this a little bit later.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Because
You're up. We're having a party for her Mama. Come help us.
And so we do, firstly grabbing the egg in the bathroom and the doghouse before heading into the basement through the entrance out the front door, where we find Butternut and a blue Tattletale. Unlike Butternut, he never actually gets a name in the game itself, but he's referred to as Dewdrop in the description of his Steam emoticon, so that's what I'll be calling him. And yes, this is the literal only place where he is referred to as this. So he put the tail down with his friends, and the second we do,
More.
our job now is to round up more Tattletales for the party, and waiting under the tree is the ever-ominous and fear-mongering Tattletale.
Mama's coming. Mama saw you.
He literally says this shit in earshot of her. Once he's done with, we head up to the garage, the bush on the way having our next egg, a literal rabbit's foot. Trust me, I have some dots to connect with these later. And we find the freaky Tattletale.
I just wanna fuck a dude.
And with all them in place, we can grab the OG Tat and run upstairs. Grab the cupcakes from the kitchen, lights from the tree, don't get murdered on the way. And when we return with the candles from the kitchen counter, we see...
Wow!
Oh, it's this kind of party. All that's left now is to light the candles and rewind the tape so that the second half of the night can begin.
Tattletale, that's me!
Treats.
Ah shit, Mama took the sensual lighting, the cornerstone of any pagan ritual, and she used the fucking candle in the vase trick. This is your final test. A culmination of your skills. Break the vases, pray to the Lord that the candle is inside, and don't get caught. Now, we can rest assured. Mama is finally gone. Grab the egg in front of your mum's room and fall, once again, into a deep slumber. We made it. We can greet the daylight, take the final egg from our stocking, and finally, officially, open Tattletale up. And if you got every single egg,
Present for you.
Tattletale gives you his tag and a golden flashlight to blind your new friend with. And finally, we can get our mum out of bed.
Thank you.
And that was Tattletale, the good ending at least. Mama is no more, but there is a darker side to this story. Let's jump back a little, to just after the ritual. If you showed restraint until now, not answering until this very night, this is what you'll hear.
This is to wish you and your family the best this holiday season and a happy new year. Information call 1-800-21. Happy holidays.
This is likely a call from Waygetter, and given the sound we hear at the end is the exact same as the song that plays at the start of Mama's story, this is most likely an ad or exclusive offer for Tattletale, but it's heavily distorted. But once again, making it back to Christmas Day and unwrapping Tattletale without all the eggs this time, this will happen. And I must admit, it's pretty fucking cheesy, but it does show us that the ritual actually failed to banish Mama, and now we can talk about the eggs. Each of them is seemingly a completely random object, but given the fact that the ritual fails without them, they are likely a part of the ritual itself. Without these, the ritual can't truly be completed. So the idea seems to be that the Tattletales package these items for you to collect to finish the event properly. I am pretty certain that this was the intended idea for them, it just seems to link up nicely, but the fault of this logic is that 2 of the eggs, the car keys in front of Mum's door on Christmas Eve and the cupcake wrapper from the stocking on Christmas Day, are attained after the ritual is already complete and are required for the good ending. I also had nowhere to sneak this in, but don't knock on your mum's door when you're being followed by Mama Tattletale. But we're not done yet. Do you remember that VHS? Well, there are a few secret feeds we now have access to. If we look back at Tattletale's tag and input each number as a code, we can tap into 3 separate camera feeds. Inputting the code at the top, 9918530, we get a feed of a Waygetter security room, with Mama in the corner, her eyes rolled back and soulless and the computer screen saying, "Abort!" The second code comes from Tattletale's birth date, 22598, which shows a door or a wall in the Waygetter factory pointing towards a prototyping room. And the final screen comes from the combination of the 2 strings at the bottom of the tag, 4175860420. Showing a room full of Mama Tattletales, the one in the center looking side to side. And this is potentially the one we got to banish. And this begs the question, what is Mama Tattletale exactly? Well, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of religious imagery in this game, and the simple fact that a fucking pagan ritual is what's used to banish Mama, I'm gonna hedge a guess that she's some kind of possessed machine. Because if it was some kind of rogue AI scenario, wouldn't all the Mamas be like this? And banishing the singular one that hunts us really wouldn't solve many problems. I do have another theory regarding this, but we'll see that a bit later. And finally, what if I told you there's a secret ending? One far outside the common treaded path, few will ever discover. And it goes a little something like this. On a night level, with Tattletale in hand, with either the front or the back door open, climb onto the doghouse and onto the roof, or up onto the garage door and then the gutter. Walk along the roof and find yourself the fence, and escape the confines of this world and walk into the night. Abandon all responsibility, all fear, and fall with Tattletale into the inky abyss. I'm not shitting you, this is a real ending for the game. The credits will play and all. This was just initially an oversight allowing you to escape, but in an update they added some unique dialogue and the credits.
You've ruined everything.
And for some reason on Christmas Day you just can't jump onto the doghouse. So now it's really it, huh? All the endings, all the secrets, everything is covered for the base game. But they do have a website. It's nothing special, but if you inspect Element, you'll find the Waygetter logo and a warning. Stay away from the kaleidoscope. So come with me for the real final leg of our journey as we enter the kaleidoscope. Once again, it's Christmas Day and we get to relive that special moment of finally getting to unwrap Tattletale for real. We feed him, groom him, but it's not like it was. Something's odd. Tattletale just isn't his usual self.
Red, white, and blue are forward.
Something's wrong. Tattletale wasn't like this. This isn't how it happened at all. Stay calm. Just try to remember what happened the night before Christmas. And even after we've gone back, Tattletale still isn't his usual self. He's polite now. He says please!
Wake up.
Anyway, we move down into the basement on the night of the ritual and we find a fucking tea party.
Forgive you.
All's well that ends well.
This is not quite how I remember it. This is definitely wrong. Mama Tattletale wasn't nice. She was banned, right? Okay, don't panic. Your memories are just mixed up. Not trying to scare you, but if you can't remember how things really happened, Tattletale will be weird and boring forever. But seriously, don't panic. Let's just go back another night. Something is clearly wrong. Events are playing out completely differently than what we experienced on the actual nights before Christmas. Tattletale once again wakes us up and we find Mama actually being a fucking mother.
My egg is gone.
Don't cry, Butternut.
Which we find in the garage, just like in the original night, but this time Dewdrop has it.
I stole an egg.
And inside there's another letter. Uh-oh. Your memories are becoming weirdly, cute? Look, memories are like VHS tapes. Every time you play them, they get a little fuzzier. Worse yet, with the right trigger, someone can record over them. I think somebody recorded over Christmas 1998. Just like the original 22nd, we hear a grinding noise from the basement.
Let's tell a joke. Knock knock. Banana. Bananas are a good source of potassium. Ha ha ha.
We find Mama once again, just like we did.
Ah!
Nothing again, and nothing ever happens!
Here are your eggs, children.
Oh boy! I love my eggs. I broke it. I broke my egg.
Okay, this is all wrong. Someone's tampered with this memory too. There is a place you can find what's changing your memory, but it's really dangerous. It's called the kaleidoscope. We're going to avoid it at all costs. Clunking again, just like before. He must be stuck in the washing machine again. Fuck! It wasn't like this at all!
Wash your clothes before drying.
And the vase is fixed!
You'll get free.
We fixed it. Me help too.
Thank you.
Oh boy. We have one last chance to get things right. If Tattletale still isn't normal on December 20th, you may have to use the kaleidoscope. It's where all memories are stored, one on top of the other, good and bad, real and imagined. You might find what you're looking for, but there's a price. The more time you spend down there, the more things will change. Forever. And the worst part is, I can't even promise it's going to work. He must be normal by now, just like before. Let's go get him out of the box and...
Tattletale. It's me.
You can't remember anything about Tattletale before this night, can you? Dang. Okay, here are your options. You can go through that door and visit the kaleidoscope. You might find whatever changed your memories and bring back what really happened on Christmas 1998. Or you can go back to bed, and your memory of Tattletale will be boring forever. But hey, you won't have to remember how scary Mama Tattletale really was either. So maybe it's not so bad. The door is dangerous, the bed is cold. I'm just glad I don't have to pick this time. This letter is a massive hint that the person making these has played these games before, and I might as well open the full can of worms now. We never find out who this person is, but given that they have knowledge of the Tattletales and inside information on the kaleidoscope, I'd imagine there's some sort of way-getter employee, but I digress. And you really do have a choice here, a kind of red pill, blue pill type situation. You can remember, learn what happened, how your memories got rewritten, and who did this to you. Having to relive the horror of Mama hunting you once more. Or go to bed. Never remember the truth, but never relive the fear. But we've come too far to back out now. Alright, you're here. Good. But I have to warn you, the more time you spend in the kaleidoscope, the more your memories can change permanently. You could mess yourself up real good. Don't get stuck down here. Look for the thing that caused your memory to change. It might be hidden pretty deep, and it gets twisty down there. Remember the path you take. You might have better luck than me.
Mirrors show you yourself.
Now finally in full view, the kaleidoscope. Easily the highest concept part of this game, as the educational Tattletale hinted, it's like a mirror of the world. Unsurprisingly, taking the form of the house where the memories we're trying to recover took place. Covered in mist, twisted and warped, a muddied reflection of what the reality we lived in looked like, and it'll only get weirder as we go down deeper. First stop is our room where we find a shiftless Tattletale called Night Night, tagged as a defective unit because it's missing its way drive. We also find a warped package above our bed, and inside we find a memory trigger. An eye from the Waygetter logo written underneath is the phrase "Prime for Suggestion." It was Waygetter, of fucking course it was, who else could it realistically have been? This is likely their attempt to silence word spreading about Mama Tattletale. Navigating in further, we see the basement is gone, and we find yet another defective Tattletale named Snowglobe, yet again missing its way drive. You may have also noticed we passed by each of the need restoring items, the fridge, the brush, and the charging pad. I'm sure all of these will be completely irrelevant and not come up later. And once we enter the living room is where things start really breaking down, with the room mirrored and bending into the abyss. At its base, behind the tree, we find another package, showing a torn patent for the way drive, finally giving us a hint at what it even is. Just let me clean this up for you. It's described as a small electronic device for use with pet toys, storing memories inside, creating a distinct personality for each pet, for a special bonding experience. With the note torn the way it is, it's hard to make out, but it also mentions an imprinting process for each toy at the very bottom, and it also has the word traumas. Now, I know this word is kind of a meme, but this is actually a huge breakthrough. If the memories used for the way drive contain traumas, it could manifest in the toy. An example of this may be the reason why all the Tattletales are afraid of the dark, despite the only real threat being Mama, something that doesn't mean them any harm. I'll claim my looking too deeply into it award now. Moving onward, we have Mama sitting in the kitchen. Of course, she is not beating the stereotypes with this one, Waygetter. Just like she sat on night 3 in the basement, stationary and harmless, yet we still haven't found what we came here for. Our only choice is to delve deeper down. With items floating everywhere and the walls bending upward extending into the ceiling, we're in deep. In the second version of our room, we find a red cassette tape. Taking it back to Mama, this is what we'll hear from her.
You're not just an employee, you're a new member of the Waygetter family. Each Tattletale contains a special device called a way drive. The way drive gives our toys their unique personality. How does the way drive work? It's a family secret.
This pretty much confirms what we'd already speculated from the pattern of the way drive, but we know more about how it works. Memories. And this begs the question of, how exactly does it use memories? Given how they keep this info under lock and key, and the simple fact that they rewrote our memories just to keep us quiet, shows that they have some way to interact and potentially even steal other people's memories to repurpose them. This is that other theory I was talking about, as this may even explain why Mama is the malevolent force she is, having some kind of memories that make her this way in her way drive. But enough speculating. Scaling the walls is another memory trigger in the form of a note asking why Mama was banned, if at all, showing the loss of memory progressing. And jumping down to the dining area is our final package, a black and white photo. It doesn't have any identifiable information on it, but what we're most likely looking at is the Waygetter factory. We only had glimpses of it before from the secret feeds on the VHS, but now we get a full outside view. We now reach the final layer of the kaleidoscope, with the floorboards completely shattered, leaving nothing but a dark void. Initially, it's reminiscent of the room with Mama in the basement, but where she used to be features a long, winding, and cramped tunnel to travel through. At its end, a VHS, and a note floating, surrounded by the symbol of the Waygetter eye. I knew it. This tape is the reason your memories have been rewritten. If you watch it, its power over you will be destroyed. Just hope nothing else gets messed up in the process.
Baby talking tattletale, touch and then you'll hear him say, you can feed him treats, he really eats. Baby talking tattletale, he can tell when Mama's there. She's your best friend, she was never banned. Baby talking tattle, baby talking tattle, baby talking tattle, baby talking tattle, baby talking tattle. Baby talking cattle, baby talking cattle, baby talking cattle, baby talking cattle, baby talking cattle.
A complete parody of the initial VHS we saw, cutting out all the unsavory content, Tattletale's personality, the murders of the 3 guards, Mama being banned, and rebranding Tattle to be all about safety and learning, explaining why he lacks his old personality and spits straight facts.
Dinosaurs may look scary, but they are dead.
There are also 2 instances of a frame being added similar to the first secret feed on the original tape, but this time lacking any sign of Mama or danger, likely flashed on screen like this as a form of subliminal messaging. So guys, we did it. Everything is back to the way it was. The night plays out exactly like it did the first time.
Knock knock. Orange.
Aren't you protecting someone?
We never made it out of the kaleidoscope, but we still have a chance at escaping. Tattletale is himself, but unfortunately, Mama is too, with a new jump scare and all. Now, I love this game. I really do, but I have to break the suspense and ask, what the fuck is this animation? Granted, I think the normal jump scare is nothing special. It's not sudden enough to really get you, but at least it made sense. Anyway, let's do this.
You fix me.
Wow, I'm impressed. You did a lot better than I did. Hopefully your memories didn't get too mixed up down there. It never hurts to check if anything has changed. Say hi to Tattletale for me. Until next time.
La 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 la. Let's tell a joke. Knock knock. Me. Me love you.
And that was it. The true, actual, and genuine end of Tattletale. And it's quite the ride. Since there have never been any more entries in the TCU, I think it wraps itself up quite nicely, and mostly avoids one of the great trappings of the genre, despite being one of its trailblazers. There is no excessive lore, there is no Bite of 87 or anything like that. A couple of handpicked mysteries, yet it refrains from a fucking secret keypad minigame. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again very soon. Subscribe. I wouldn't have to say it if it didn't work. Ah!